In the fading light of a late 1970s afternoon, far from the blinding neon of Hollywood and the relentless flash of paparazzi cameras, a familiar silhouette stood tall against the rugged horizon of Stanfield, Arizona. This was not a scene from a movie set, and there were no directors shouting action. This was the private sanctuary of John Wayne, a sprawling, 22,000-acre empire known as the 26 Bar Ranch. For decades, the world had known the Duke as a celluloid hero, a man who conquered the West on a theater screen. But as the sun began to set on his legendary career, Wayne sought something more tangible than fame. He sought the red dust of the actual earth beneath his boots and a legacy that was written in soil rather than celluloid. The 26 Bar Ranch wasn't just an investment. It was the final, grand act of a man trying to outrun his own myth and return to the simple, brutal honesty of the land he had spent a lifetime portraying. The story of the 26 Bar Ranch is one of the most guarded chapters of Wayne's personal life, representing his profound desire for a legacy that would outlast the flickering lights of the cinema. Partnering with his longtime friend Lewis Johnson, Wayne didn't just lend his name to the ranch. He immersed himself in the grueling reality of cattle breeding and cotton farming. He was often seen in dusty jeans and a sweat-stained hat, working alongside the ranch hands, forgotten by the world as the movie star and embraced as a fellow cattleman. This was where the Duke felt truly alive, away from the respiratory struggles and the political battles of Hollywood. Here, in the heart of Arizona, he bred world champion Hereford cattle, creating a standard of excellence that shocked the agricultural community. It was a silent transformation, a high-stakes gamble where the Duke risked his personal fortune to prove that he was as real as the legends he created on screen. But the ranch held secrets beyond the cattle and the crops. It was a place of quiet reflection where Wayne hosted his closest friends, away from the prying eyes of the industry. It was during these long desert nights, under a canopy of unpolluted stars, that the Duke began to formulate his final gifts to the world, not just his wealth, but a philosophy of land preservation and a blueprint for his family's future. He saw the 26 Bar as a fortress of tradition in a rapidly changing world, a place where the values of the Old West could be preserved for his children and grandchildren. As we peel back the layers of this 27th episode, we discover that John Wayne's greatest performance wasn't one captured on film. It was the one he lived in the quiet, dusty solitude of Arizona, preparing his final farewell to the land he loved more than fame itself. But what truly set the 26 Bar Ranch apart from any other celebrity getaway was the sheer scale of the operation and the level of Wayne's personal grit. This wasn't a hobby for the faint of heart. It was a high-stakes duel with nature itself. Here is the secret that few understood at the time. John Wayne was investing nearly every spare cent he had into the Arizona soil, betting against the changing tides of Hollywood. While other stars were buying mansions in Beverly Hills, the Duke was buying irrigation systems and prize-winning bulls. He knew that the silver screen was an illusion, but the land was eternal. He often told his partner, Lewis Johnson, that he wanted his children to know the value of a hard day's work, something that was impossible to teach under the artificial lights of a studio. Every morning at dawn, before the desert heat became unbearable, Wayne would be out there, his lungs scarred by cancer and surgeries, yet still drawing in the dusty air of freedom, proving that his spirit was far more resilient than his aging body. The mystery of the 26 Bar Ranch deepened when rumors began to circulate about the private gatherings held there. This wasn't a place for industry parties or red carpets. It was a fortress of loyalty. Legendary figures like Dean Martin and even political heavyweights would fly in, shedding their public personas as soon as their boots hit the Arizona dirt. Now, listen closely to this forgotten detail. It was during these nights, sitting around a crackling mesquite fire, that Wayne shared his most intimate fears about the future of America and his own place in history. He felt the world he knew was disappearing, and the ranch was his way of holding onto a piece of it. He began writing letters to his children, hidden away in a desk at the ranch house. Letters that weren't meant to be read until he was gone, filled with the kind of raw, fatherly advice that a man of his stature often found difficult to express in the heat of a movie career. These letters were his true legacy, more valuable than any Oscar or box office record. The legendary Hereford cattle of the 26 Bar became the pride of the Duke's life. He didn't just own them. He knew their lineages, their strengths, and their value. He attended cattle auctions not as a celebrity attraction, but as a serious bidder who could outmaneuver the most seasoned ranchers in the country. There was a sense of justice in this for Wayne. A man who had been told how to speak and move by directors for 50 years was finally the one calling the shots in a world of absolute reality. However, the physical toll was immense. Those close to him saw the winces of pain he hid from the public. The ranch was both his salvation and his struggle, a place where he could be a man instead of a myth, even if it cost him the last of his strength. As the sun dipped lower over the horizon, casting long, dramatic shadows across the cotton fields, the Duke was preparing for his final transition, ensuring that the 26 Bar would stand as a monument to a life lived without compromise. As the final years of the 1970s arrived, the 26 Bar Ranch became more than just a business. It became a sanctuary for a man who knew his time was running short. But here is the most moving part of this untold story. While the world watched John Wayne battle his final illnesses on the public stage, he was fighting a much quieter, more personal battle within the wooden walls of his Arizona retreat. He spent hours alone on the porch, staring out at the vastness of the desert, often with a notebook in his hand. He wasn't writing scripts. He was documenting the soul of the American West as he saw it slipping away. He realized that the ranch was a living museum of the values he had championed: hard work, absolute integrity, and a deep, spiritual connection to the land. He gave strict instructions to his staff and family. The ranch was never to be sold to developers who would tear down its history for profit. To Wayne, every fence post he had helped drive into the ground was a testament to a life lived on his own terms, away from the artificial glitter of Hollywood. The mystery of those long Arizona nights still lingers in the dry desert air. Friends recalled that even when his breath grew shallow, the Duke's spirit remained as towering as the mountains surrounding Stanfield. He would often host small, intimate dinners where the conversation never touched on film budgets or box office numbers. Instead, they talked about the lineage of the cattle, the quality of the harvest, and the simple beauty of a desert thunderstorm. Pay close attention to this. Wayne was consciously stripping away the Duke persona, layer by layer, until only the man, Marion Morrison, remained. He wanted to leave this world not as a caricature of a cowboy, but as a true son of the soil. This period of his life was his most honest performance, one played for an audience of stars and saguaros. It was here, amidst the Hereford cattle and the vast cotton fields, that he found the peace that had eluded him during his decades of superstardom, proving that a man's true worth is measured not by the applause of millions, but by the legacy he leaves in the hearts of those who walked the earth beside him. After his passing in 1979, the 26 Bar Ranch stood as a silent witness to his greatness. Though the ranch would eventually change hands, the spirit of John Wayne remains embedded in the very dust of that Arizona land. The letters he wrote, the trees he planted, and the standards of excellence he set for his cattle still resonate within the ranching community today. He didn't just leave behind a collection of films. He left behind a blueprint for living with dignity. This is the final lesson of the Duke's secret ranch. Success is fleeting, but character is eternal. He showed us that even the most powerful icons need a place to be human, a place where the wind can wash away the noise of the world and leave only the truth. As we close this 27th chapter of his incredible journey, we realize that John Wayne never really left the West. He simply rode back into the heart of it, leaving us with the enduring image of a man who was as rugged, as honest, and as timeless as the Arizona horizon itself. The legacy of the 26 Bar continues to haunt the memories of those who remember the sight of the Duke on horseback, moving through the cattle under a purple desert sky. It serves as a reminder that behind every legend is a man searching for a home, and for John Wayne, home was never a mansion in California or a premiere in New York. Home was a 22,000-acre patch of dust and dreams where he could finally take off the hat, put down the gun, and simply be a father, a friend, and a rancher. His final gift to us wasn't a movie. It was the realization that no matter how far we travel or how famous we become, our greatest achievements are the roots we plant in the ground and the love we leave behind in the lives of others. The Duke may be gone, but on a quiet night in Stanfield, if you listen closely to the wind through the cottonwoods, you can almost hear the steady rhythm of a man who finally found his peace in the land he called his own.